to Politics and Right. My name is Egberto, Willies, your host, and today we are honored to have Debilyn Molineaux. Debilyn Molineaux is the former president of the Coffee Party and the former president and CEO of Bridge Alliance. Welcome. How are you doing, my friend?
Egberto, so good to see you.
What's wrong with America?
So America right now, we are confused. I also think that we're suffering from some delusions. And a lot of what we, the people, are thinking about in America right now is that politics doesn't work, democracy has not delivered on its promise to what we need. And we don't really have a hopeful vision for a future. We have a lot of stories out there about things that are ending, So anyway, ask me another question.
Let me tell you, that was full. Now you are now forming your own organization, or you have your own organization. What is it called again?
AmericanFuture.us, and it's a project.
And why did you start that project?
So I've been doing political bridge building for about 2 decades now. And one of the things that, and by political bridge building, there's the dialogue and deliberation piece, which is what most people think of these days. There's also trying to get policymakers and advocacy groups to come up with cross-partisan solutions, which is part of the Bridge Alliance, what we used to do. Bridge Alliance still does that work, but I don't. And what I was frustrated by was that people who were doing the connecting across the partisan divide were really trying to convince or persuade each other, and they weren't actually doing the hard work of deeply connecting with each other and coming up with better solutions. And part of that is because the future stories that we have out there really suck right now. And so we are having trouble as Americans imagining a future that doesn't suck.
You told me earlier about the 5-year-old, and that's where we need to go back to being the 5-year-old.
Yeah, I think you asked me a question about
let me just tell the audience, this is our second time around on this interview because I didn't record it the first time. So I have to thank Debilyn for actually spending the time again to do the interview.
Yeah, no worries. No, it's a non-fatal error, as our friend Janine would say. So one of the things that you were asking me, I think you asked me last time, what brought the 5-year-old metaphor up was what is it that we need to do? And I said, well, we actually need to do things that we used to do naturally when we were 5 years old. We share. If somebody's hurt, we try to comfort them. And we need to play well with others.
And you know what? 5-year-olds could do it. The adults should be able to do it as well, shouldn't they?
They should, but for some reason, in our delusion about what is right and good, we've gotten a little judgy. Now,
in the previous talk, you also gave a great thing about us trying to change other people, the religious,
Yes.
That was a good. I love the way you expressed that, and I hope you can say it again with the fluency that you said the first time.
Well, I'll give it my best shot here. So one of the things that when we look into the future, we all have a different future story of something we don't want.
Right.
So the MAGA folks have a future story of they don't want socialism, and so they're really trying hard to prevent socialism from taking over the nation. And the Netroots Nation crowd has a fear of authoritarianism. And so they're really trying hard to make sure authoritarians don't take over. And then you've got the climate change activists who are working really hard to make sure that humans can continue to exist on life. So there's an end time story there. And then you've got the really Pentecostal Christian who think that the end times are here, Armageddon's about to come, and they're going to get swept up to heaven. And so there's all of these ending stories, these end times stories that have a different flavor depending on who you are. And as a result of that, we're all trying to change each other's behavior so that we get the future that is not the bad one we don't want.
And that's where it's interesting because, like I said before, it is almost that you're saying we can direct the outcome if we just stop the fear of what we feel for others and start directing the positive of what we want.
Right. So this is where neuroscience comes in.
Right.
And what neuroscience is starting to prove right now is that we look for and create situations that reflect what we think about most. And so I want to like drill in on that just a little bit. Whatever we think about most is what we are most likely to manifest or create into our daily lives. So it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy if we think about things that we don't want or that we're afraid of. And then it gets into this negative spiral.
I love when you talk about the self-fulfilling prophecy, because believe it or not, what that gives people is that gives people hope. Wow, you mean if I just go ahead and if it's self-fulfilling prophecies, then I can decide what the prophecy is going to be.
Absolutely. And that's kind of the undertone and the reason that I'm doing American Future, because most Americans don't actually know what they want for their own lives.
Yes.
We know what we don't want, and we spend a lot of time and energy. And we have to train our minds to actually, number one, decide what we want, and then number two, train it to think about that all the time.
Right.
And this is not some kind of new agey, secret kind of thing. It's actual neuroscience. That when we know what we want, when I know that what I want is to have a project that impacts the American public in a positive way by helping incite our imagination, I start looking for opportunities and partners where I can advance that vision.
I love that.
Right?
I love that.
And so it's like when you say, I never saw an orange car before until I bought one, and then all of a sudden there's orange cars everywhere. It's the same thing.
I love that. Debilyn, how can people find your work?
So people can go to AmericanFuture.us and they can poke around. I hope that they'll take the self-interview, or even better, click on the self-interview link and then download the PDF and trade interviews with somebody else. It's 8 questions to help you know what you want for your own life. They can listen to my podcast, Terrified Nation.
I thought you were going to forget that. I was going to tell them, make sure to listen to her podcast because it is good.
And so terrifiednation.com is people sharing their American future stories, and a little bit of my opinionating or guiding people with some reflection to help get to what they want.
And look, folks, this is Debilyn Molineaux, former president of the Coffee Party USA, and former president of, former president and CEO of the Bridge Alliance. Thank you so kindly for being here at, I'm not going to say the name, because since she plays it right down the middle, she's going to say, please don't. Anyway, thank you so kindly.
Have a good day.
All right, you
Thanks,
too.
Egberto.
We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead, number 1, subscribe to our channel, and number 2, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share. We must populate the entire internet with our progressive message, a message that we know is what most Americans say that they want. So help us, please join.